Okay, so good evening, everybody. Welcome to CIMARRON 2020. I am here with a great artist from Colombia. Her name is Liliana Romero. She uses references of African traditions and Colombian street art and advertising to build her powerful and confronting aesthetic, underpinned by a celebration of Black womanhood. She has studied independent illustrations at SBA New York, has a BA from Pontificia Universidad Javeriana in Bogotá, and has recently graduated from MA Print Camberwell, where she was awarded the East London Printmakers Prize. She was also selected to show her work at London Grads Now at the Saatchi Gallery. So Liliana, welcome to CIMARRON 2020. For this year, we are celebrating the life of Afrodescendant women. We're calling it Afrodescendant women in the diasporas. And we're very, very pleased that you're here with us and that you accepted this interview. So welcome.
Thank you so much for this invitation. It's really an honor to be in this festival because obviously being so far away from Colombia, it's important to make it visible our roots and the plural and multicultural that it is that our countries as Latin American countries have. Yeah, thank you so much.
That's great. I just wanted to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about your life and whereabouts in Colombia are you from, how you happen to be here in the UK, and a little bit about the work that you do as an artist.
Yes, sure. So obviously, as you already told, my artistic path comes from the Universidad Javeriana, and obviously, what I decided to come here was to specialize my craft, that is screen print and obviously printmaking. So I was born in Venezuela, but I really was raised in Colombia, and my family is Colombian. Well, half Colombian, half Spanish family. And I was raised in a white mixed race neighborhood in middle class Colombia, where I was surrounded by white culture, if I say so like that. So I always was enclosed in the experience of living in a white privileged society where I couldn't find anyone that I could relate to because obviously my skin was black, my hair was kinky, and obviously in my school, as I was a privileged school, a private privileged school in bilingual, that's a rarity in Colombia because we don't speak much English, like people are not, in my time, when I was a little girl, in my time, people weren't obligated to learn English as they are now. That I know that all right now in private schools or in public schools, sorry, they are taught English now, but previously it wasn't. So obviously, I had a lot of advantage in my life, but with advantage, they also come some blank space in my racing, because as I couldn't find or relate to anyone in my surroundings, I also started to hate myself because obviously there was a stigma against Black persons because I don't know, the kids in school related Black persons to the help, to a cleaner,
domestic work,
yeah, domestic works, and obviously works that didn't concern education. So they always without, because obviously they were kids, I will not say they did it with malice, but they did it with obviously what they were taught by their parents or by the teachers, and obviously they didn't have any relationship with their teachers with the Black culture or indigenous culture, due to that the teachers were also brought from America or Europe to teach privileged English students. So I started to in my life when I arrived to university and had this relationship with art and also with other Black students and other Black species that were also like we were, oh my God, this happens to you too? What? Oh my God, this is real. This is this is extremely real. And obviously we use art. I started to use art to communicate what I have been seeing through being trapped in this bubble white society, and how being in Colombia, you guess that it shouldn't be like racial bias or have any hierarchy or inequality in it, but with time you start to see that we still are, we have this idea of neo-colonization in our minds, that is still things that the paradise is around the world, and is not in Colombia or in any Latin American country. We believe that our country is poor, and it should be poor because there's these other mega countries that involves Europe, United Kingdom, United States, that is obviously what keeps us with our head down, looking to the floor and not recognizing our own value. Yeah, so that's what I do with my art. What I'm facing this white monster that I used to be living before. Yeah.
Very, very, very interesting, very in-depth recounting of your story. I wanted to, from reading your bio and from looking at your work, race and womanhood are central themes. And I just wanted to ask, what drives you to create art around these themes?
So obviously, when I decided to embrace my art and my Blackness to it, I had a lot of blanks in my memory because I didn't have any contact with Black people before, Black culture before, because obviously my mom, she was from a really poor environment, and with hard work and studying hard, that the average people, she could get out of that space of poor people. And obviously her mind was set to just make money. So I don't want to be surrounded by poor people, and poor people usually are, or well, in our country usually are Black persons or indigenous persons due to our, well, racist bias and inequality. So when I started to research my memory, my heritage, my ancestry, I also began to look how Black women were treated in our society in Colombia, and how each woman had different experiences about what their future was going to be, and what their future as a Black woman should be. And obviously in Colombia there is like a variety of like concepts of what a Black woman should do and how a Black woman should live. And and I encountered so many things, like they were cultural and traditional, and some like women that were raised to be this amazing carer, or take care of how do you say, a crop setting. Or I saw the women that were just raised to be a domestic, housewife, and to have kids, and they don't care about the future because it was
little aspiration.
Yeah. So and also every time I see it, I was like, oh, my Black womanhood is so free. So, but no, because I also was like deeply sexualized in my environment. I was thought that I was ugly all the time, and I was ugly because I'm Black, and that also like did damage in my mental health. And I understand that these new ways of like facing what Black women have been facing through different environments, through different places around Colombia. I understand that Black womanhood is more than just like being Black, but it's more about a concept that always plays an obstacle to you, because it has I have faced with the term of a Black woman should be strong but obedient, but and it should do more and more, and we cannot open all the spaces to her because then she will take advantage. And it's just like, oh my God, people really don't know what a Black woman means. And that's why I do the poster Black woman everywhere, every day, everywhere, because I was inspired of what really means to be Black woman, what it really means to live as a Black woman and love to be a Black woman, and to have to talk about this all the time, because society doesn't let you forget that you are a Black and that you are a woman. It doesn't let you live how you want supposed to live. I don't want to be all the time fighting and defending myself because I'm a Black woman. I want to be myself, Liliana. But in this environment and in this times, we definitely have to struggle and have to fight every time for our voices and for that normal pace that should have everyone, not just women, but Black trans women. I also in the poster there's an iconic play with the nipple of the Black person. This is
yes.
a Black person, because I also do an homage to the Black trans women and how also becoming a Black woman as a Black trans person that is targeting by so many societies, so many, like they're one of the most violented people in the world, the trans Black women community. And how can we not forget that being Black women is, what I say before, an obstacle and struggle that doesn't let you just be. It becomes something that you should live day by day. And also is confronting to what is the new Black face. Sorry if I am getting too long, but it's a lot.
No. It's your time.
That is the Blacking that a lot of Black, white, or mixed race women have used in their social media, transforming themselves into Black women, into darker tones, into these aesthetics that the Black women usually use, and forgetting what a really Black woman means and what has been the struggle to become these powerful images that we are now, because previously no one wanted to be 3 or 4 times darker. You wanted to be whiter and whiter and whiter, and now the tables has turned. But because of what? Because Black women have empower in their speech, and because Black women have decided not to be judged by being Black or women. Yeah, so that's why I have my work is so entangled between Black womanhood and race speeches.
Yes, and we're definitely living a time now. The present time is where women are coming into their own and learning to fight back, and learning to stand and to demand their rights and things. That kind of leads me into the next question, because you also mentioned it's confronting on the side of women and being a Black woman, but you also, in your art, you also branch out to other kind of social aspects and political aspects of Colombia. For instance, your piece of Carlos Aldario. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Definitely. So a lot of my pieces, or my art in itself, has become a way for me to face this horrible environment, this horrible system that we have, that we have as privileged people have set our minds to, just believing these concepts of what is common and what is normal and what should be, and how this separation of normal and common should be. And we have risen to, oh, I live a normal life, my life is okay. And that just gives us like a niche of protection of what I said before, this bubble that protects us in big question marks of what the reality is. Forgetting that obviously what we do, instead of getting into these norms or dogmas that we have been before, is that we shouldn't stay in what it is normal, but in diversity. We shouldn't stay in what is this common but community. So when I was dealing with my master's in Camberwell doing my printmaking, obviously deciding the topic I wanted to talk was quite difficult. And coming here to the UK was like, oh, you're Colombian, oh, and I understand that the people didn't know too much about what Colombia meant. So they were also a little bit afraid of what to say about me, because obviously what they know about Colombia was the common and normal thing to know, that it was obviously what the media has control for everyone to know. So
forever, yes.
When I started to get involved with the topic that obviously it's a burden for Colombians, is that we are killing our leaders. We are killing the people who are protecting and loving their own territory, who are keeping the ecosystem safe, who are having this struggle of, protecting Colombia, while we are here and we are noticing that our media is obviously how do you say, avoiding these topics, or just put it a little bit, not to, how do you say, just by the surface.
Just brushing over, just
Yeah.
kind of brushing over
Just,
it.
just scrapping over the topic, just to make it not too much interesting, not too much shocking, so everyone can live their life in their common and normal living. So obviously what I wanted to do with my work was I wanted people to know the name of these people that are really fighting with their life every minute and every second, just because they're placed in this position of they're saying, no more. We want to live a better life. We want to have a good living. So I wanted people to know their name, to be remembered of what they've been fighting for, and to be protected for what they are fighting for. So Carlos Aldario, who was called, who in this poster I placed a lot of homage to his life and to his death, because I placed these two dogs in his top that were the guardians that always lived with him, because Carlos Aldario was a lonely man who lived and protected the Paramo of Santa Isabel, Paramo Mountain, yeah. So he only had his two dogs, and then I placed the two horses that were the ones who carry his body down to his mother when they find him shot in the head. He also was called Cejas, so I placed his nickname in the lower part, next to Guardián del Páramo. That was another nickname that was set to him because he was the keeper of the mountain. And obviously this poster is part of a lot of posters that I have made homage to the leaders in Colombia, not just dead, but also alive. Because I think giving an image to the leaders in Colombia, they protect them to know people like, oh my God, this guy is important, it shouldn't be killed. And if people in the UK know, people here know more about them, we will build a network that will protect them, I think.
Of course, yes, because then they might think about stopping the killings if enough people get to know about it in the world, obviously. So I just wanted to know, when you create your pieces, where does your inspiration come from? I know you're deeply rooted in womanhood and your Black roots, but if you're kind of just trying to create something, what other things do you use to create your art or ideas?
Yeah, so graphically, I have been really inspired by all the typography of the city of Bogota. I think not right now, because when I left Colombia just 2 years back, like the transportation was not like as before, when it was like 2007 or 2008, where we only don't have Transmilenio, but we have this really crispy buses full of colors with these plates in front with different typography, one stretch another. I was really inspired by that, and I think that it was like the image of Bogota city. I think that's how graphically I just built my things. If you have the luck to see one of these buses, how it was before, it's really beautiful how it worked itself to represented how indigenous culture of this beautiful and explosion of colors have mixed with the city. So obviously graphically, I have always been a little bit inspired by that. Obviously famous graphic designers as Emery Douglas and famous bold painters like Jacob Lawrence have inspired me. But obviously in my drawing, I have always followed the narrative tales. So I always draw people in movement or people really in portrait with the really symmetric faces, because I love the symmetry. I love when the movement in the poster give you a tale. So that's how I create my artwork. I always try to be really respectful of what I want to say if I'm talking about homage, like a memoir for that person, because obviously I don't want to draw or reflect something that that person didn't reflect, or maybe just an ego as myself, what I want to show. No, I want everything to work in a way that it works for the homage and for me in the same balanced way. Obviously, we like at the end I have to wait until the spectator sees it and tells me what are his thoughts or her thoughts.
What it
Sorry.
brings out in people once they
Yeah.
see the finished product.
Yeah, I think as the
Excellent.
spectator at the end, I'm surprised at the end of the result. I also get slightly hypnotized by the colors because I also that I always use a variety of colors unless I'm talking about a topic that is really strong and a little bit more violent or a little bit more aggressive to the spectator's eye, because I think the colors is just the vibrant of our our Latinx. So that's why I always use a lot of variables of colors.
I'm going to lead on to another question because some questions you have already answered through talking and explaining what you do. But just because the discourse has kind of changed lately with Black Lives Matter, and just thinking when I'm talking to people and when I see all the discussions about Black Lives Matter and what they mean and everything, and it's quite obvious that some people are not fully aware of the level of racism in our society, to the point of people saying that Black Lives is extremely political, that they're extremists. How do you see their cause?
I have participated in a lot of Black Lives Matters movements around the city, like a lot of talks, I participated in the one during COVID that we moved up because of the George Floyd killed, basically. And for me, Black Lives Matter movement is really important, but I obviously have thought that a lot that has been done by trends, and not because of what it really means. This movement, this Black Lives Matter, and how it has supposed to teach you and interest you as a form of education for this because what is Black Lives Matter in reality is not this radical political state of like only Black Lives Matter is what matters. It's more about finding an anti-racist speech that finds equity between all the races, even though not calling any more races, but valuing each life of what it is. It's like it's like what I say about feminism. There shouldn't be just feminism, but Black feminism. Because it's important to underline and make it more visible who are the ones that are getting in danger in this wide systematic society. That, like, even if it hurts us, like we have been raised in a racist environment. Everything is racist, from the way we handle our money, from the way we decided our taste, or what we believe that is common and normal. Black Lives Matter for me. I have made a lot of research, and I have seen the organizer talks, and I think what they say is so important for everyone to hear it, because Black Lives Matter is meant for Black persons. It's meant for our union in this time where, as before, when I say before, that I was separated, alienated from every Black person. There's a lot of persons, a lot of Black, how do you say that? Black persons in the world, sorry, that they don't know that they are being victimized, or they are being treated as different, because they don't know, because they don't have someone to hold their hands and make this union.
Yeah. Or the racism has been so internalized and normalized.
Yeah.
Because people don't compare it to the real levels of racism that really exist.
Yeah, because I have been a sufferer of that too. Like, I have suffered of that too, of really hating myself because society told me to hate myself. And it's super dangerous and super hurtful. I think Black Lives Matter is a way. I think it's a place that is built with good intentions, but as society is so cruel and so big, it's easy to get misunderstandings of what it is, but it also happens with feminism. It also happens with the fight for our territories, for civil rights, or even just, I don't know, like a fight in your home if you're mixed race. It's so complicated.
Yeah, it's all been hegemonized, so it's quite difficult to fight the system. I wanted to ask you, has coming to the UK changed you or your art in any way?
I don't know if it has changed my art. I think obviously it has, like, how do you say, alimentar? Has feed me more.
Nurtured?
Yeah, nurture me more. Like, there's so many ways of Black womanhood here in just London. It's so amazing of Black identification that I didn't know before, because obviously in Colombia you never face with a person that it comes from Africa. You know, like,
of course, yes.
You only face people that are Black but Colombian. You never face a Black African. Even the people who travel around the world and gets into Colombia, they usually are not Black. They usually are white or I don't know, maybe Greek or Italian, but mostly white people that wants to see the world. You never see, or it's not so common to see a Black person to travel around the world and get to Colombia. So obviously, it has shocked me in different ways, in different levels, that I have to understand. And now I'm just like re-educating myself and understanding new ways of how I should talk to people, because obviously I cannot talk the same way as I talked before in Colombia here in the UK, because there's so many topics that are handling what it means to be Black, that I cannot just go and I am important, I am the one who knows the reason and the truth about everything because I have experienced this and this. No, because, and it has faced me like a slap in the face, like, hey, no, shush a little bit and understand that this is a pool. Like, I always take apart London from UK because I think UK have a lot of places where they follow traditional standards, and it's a little bit harder to interact with so many plural cultures as is London. London for me has been an experience of diverse expressions of amounts and amounts of learning and education, not just by my university, but by people, by each people, even the Latin American people that have been here of almost a decade or just 2 years as I am. Is so different experiences and so different views about the existence that you're never sufficed. You just want to learn and meet new people and have new experiences every time. So I think my art is just getting affected because of that. I think obviously in the handle of color and the handle of shape and situations. I think my last artwork is so dedicated to Colombia that maybe in my next project I will have a little bit more of a project about this new communication of the paradise world that we look from Colombia, and to see the reality that is like, oh my God, here's or 10 times worse or 10 times better, but it's just like a mixture of whatever is going on. And yeah, no, an adventure, UK. Yeah.
Yeah. No, London is definitely a very extremely special place. I was going to comment on your piece entitled Bencos. I loved it. I thought it was amazing, beautiful, because as I mentioned before, when I was trying to find a name for CIMARRON, I had Bencos was one of the images that I had in my mind. So I just wanted to know what led you to create a piece in his name.
Obviously, I have been a lover of bullerengue like since the first time I hear it. And I had the opportunity to go to San Basilio de Palenque and to go to Golfo del Morrosquillo, that are principal territories that were part of the union that or territory that was freed by Bencos Viejo. And obviously, when I learned about him, I was like, "Oh my God, I want to learn more and more and more." And why we are not being taught of him in school? Why we don't know
They write them out of the history. Yeah.
Yeah, he's totally erased. We don't know, like, it is so weird to us to believe that, like, they were free slaves before, like, they were free slaves in North America. That's so crazy. They were here in Colombia before, and how they fought for it. The first territory of slaves was in Colombia, and that's something that people cannot believe. Yeah. And so I was doing these posters of leaders for the homage, but I was like, I want to make a one of him, even though he died a long time ago. But he died protecting his heritage, his ancestry, you know, like his brothers and sisters. He's how he died, because he wanted to leave a territory for them to be free, a territory where they can grow crops and everything, and he fought for that. Every time he escaped, like at least 4 times before he could escape, finally to get to this place, Montes de Maria, where he was named king, because he was the king of the black.
He was the king in Africa he was the king. We don't have a lot of time left, but I just wanted to see if we can finish our questions. Do you think Black History Month is important? Do you see the importance of having 1 month of the year to celebrate Black history?
I celebrate Black History Month all year, so for me it's important, obviously. But I think Black History Month it should be made for the people that should be interested in Black history, because Black history is human history, and it should be treated as human history. It should be also, as we say before, our history of Colombian Blackness should be also be inscribed in students in schools, in primary schools and secondary schools, or wherever. It should be at school. Black History Month right now for me is like a condolence prize, like a feel better prize, and I think it should be so more big and incredible, and it should be more celebrated. I think obviously the pandemic this year just turned off the chips down, and there was not too much authenticity as it is before. But obviously its importance is so how do you say, noticeable, that it should happen at least once a month, or every couple of weeks. We should learn a little bit more about Black history, or it should be embraced in schools or in the educational systems, how Black history should be all the time, and not just this month as a consolation gift. Yeah.
But we only have about 1.5 minutes, so I just want to finish by saying congratulations on your East London Printmakers Award and on being selected to show some of your work at the Sachi Gallery. Where can people see your work, and do you have any future plans? Are there any exhibitions coming?
Well, because of the pandemic, I had to reschedule so many of the exhibitions I was going to have in Black History Month. But obviously, if I had any, I will definitely let CIMARRON Festival know right away.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, and thank you so much for recognizing my previous engagement with galleries. Sachi Gallery was an exciting opportunity. And I think I will, as I said before, what I will do in my next projects is like an intervention between the communication of being a Black Colombian and just facing these new Black personas that is really hard to like being awakened in that new way that you always are when you learn something new. So yeah, so basically that. And you can find me in Instagram by just my artistic name, Lilophilia. It's LILOPHILIA. Yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. We definitely must have you when we do the bigger CIMARRON, and you can come and show your art.
Thank CIMARRON. You so much. No, this is amazing. Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Muchas gracias.